What's the difference between vision, mission, purpose, and core values? And what's the difference between those and strategy and objectives and goals? And which one or two or three or four of these should we be using in our regular day-to-day communications, both internally and externally? And once we've decided on which ones to use, how do we actually come up with them? What are the characteristics of good, effective statements? Now, we don't have all night to talk about these things, so I just want to spend a couple of minutes sharing sort of my ramblings and my musings and my thoughts on these that'll maybe cause you to dig a little bit deeper and maybe investigate this a little bit further for your organization. The way that I think about this is that vision is really that mental picture that you have of a preferred future state. When you dream about success, when you dream about how things could be if things go well, what is that picture? What is that vision that you have for the future? And your mission is really about what you are charged to do. What do you feel like your mission is? Like, what is your ultimate objective? What are you trying to accomplish with your organization? And your purpose is why you exist. Why is it that you even have an organization? What is the point of your existence? And then core values are really about how you do things. Okay, so vision is that mental picture that you have. Mission is what you're trying to accomplish. Purpose is why you exist. And your core values are how you do things. Now notice that this is different than your strategies or your goals or your objectives, which are really around trying to accomplish something. You're trying to accomplish your vision to make that a reality, or you're trying to carry out your mission, or you're trying to be true to your purpose, or you're trying to do things in alignment with your core values. But those are really more about making progress rather than the core foundational elements like vision, mission, purpose, and core values. Now, I believe it's a good exercise to actually come up with a vision, mission, purpose, and core values. I think that's critical to your organization and really understanding where it is that you're trying to go, why you exist, how you do things, all of that stuff. But I do not believe that all of those things should be used in your day-to-day communication. They're just too long. The average vision statement alone is 35 words. And when I read vision statements, and I do this for a lot of organizations, I read their vision statement, and usually about 6 or 7 words I just say into the thing, I just say stop. It's just too much. It's just, I don't even understand it. It's too much fluff. What is your vision? What are you trying to do? And the reason I'm so critical of that is because if people are reading it and it's not going to stick in their mind, it's not going to be memorable, it's not going to be compelling, they're going to forget it. And so if you think you're going to be a vision-centric organization and your vision statement is just too robust and it's not really to the point, you're never going to get where you're actually trying to go in terms of having the vision be front of mind for people all of the time. So the question is, which one should you really be highlighting? Your vision, your mission, your purpose, or your core values? And to get to that answer, and I don't believe it's the same for every organization. I think some people would tell you always your vision, or some would say it's always your mission. Some people say it's always your vision, mission, and your purpose. Some would say it's always your core values. I disagree completely. I think anytime you hear somebody say you should always do something, I think that is it flies in the face of the uniqueness of your organization. I think you have to get to that place on your own. I think you can use the wisdom of others and what's worked for other people, but I really want to challenge you not to be a cookie cutter and just follow the crowd on this thing. You have to be true to your organization. So how do you decide if you're going to emphasize your vision, mission, purpose, or core values? There are a few questions that I believe you should be asking yourself to determine what to prioritize in terms of your communication. The first one is, what is your key differentiator? What is that thing that's going to separate you from other organizations that are similar to you? If you're a school, what differentiates you from others? Is it your vision? Is it your picture for a preferred future state? Is it your mission in terms of what you are charged to do in your community? Is it your purpose, why you exist? Or is it your core values on how you do things? Which of those things differentiates you from others, whether they're your peers or your competitors or however you see that? What differentiates you? If you own a landscaping company, What differentiates you? Is it your vision for your preferred future state? Is it your mission in terms of what you feel like you're charged to do? Is it why you exist, or is it how you do things? What differentiates you from the others in your field? Another question you can ask to try to figure out what you should emphasize is, what is most important? Is why you exist the most important thing? Or is it what you're charged to do the most important thing? Or is your vision of a preferred future state the most important thing? Or is how you do things the most important thing? Depending on how you answer those, you may want to emphasize your purpose or your mission or your vision or your core values. Another question you can ask is, what will people wonder about you? Are they wondering why you exist? Are they wondering what you're charged to do? Are they wondering what your picture of a preferred future state is? Or are they wondering how you do things? That question can help you determine. And another question you can ask is, what's most compelling about your story? Is why you exist the most compelling part of your story, or what your mission is, what you're trying to accomplish? Is that the most compelling part of your story? Or maybe your vision for a preferred future state is the most compelling, or maybe how you do things is the most compelling. What is the most compelling thing about your organization? And the other question I want to leave you with is, what is the most important thing for employees and other stakeholders to understand about you? Is it critically important that your employees and other stakeholders, like your clients or any of your external relationships, is it the most critical that they understand why you exist, or what you're trying to do, your vision for the future, or how you do things? As I mentioned before, I think it's important for every organization to really take the time and write down what their vision, mission, purpose, and core values are. But when you start to figure out which ones of these things do we want to emphasize, there are a number of questions that you can ask that'll help you get insight into what you should emphasize. And I've listed just 5 of them here for you to consider. To recap, what is your key differentiator? What is the most important? What will people wonder about you? What is the most compelling? And what is the most critical for employees and other stakeholders to understand about you? If you can get to the point where you can clearly articulate your vision, mission, purpose, core values, and then you ask these questions, you're going to start to refine what your key messages are that you can use internally and externally. You start to really figure out what is your most important part of your story. Is it why you exist? Is it what you're trying to do? Is it how you're doing things? Is it your picture of a preferred future state? What's the most important for you to try to message internally and externally? And then once you've figured that out, now is where you start to refine that statement. If you decide that the vision is what you really want to focus on, then make it clear, make it compelling, make it memorable, make it memorizable. And those are really the 4 things that are key to whatever it is that you choose to focus on. Vision, mission, purpose, or core values. No matter what it is, make it clear. Make sure that people understand without any doubt what it is that you're trying to do, if it's your mission, or why you exist, if it's your purpose, or what your picture of the future state is, if it's your vision, or how you do things, if it's your core values. Don't let them guess. Tell them. Make sure that it's clear. And then make sure it's compelling. There are so many organizational statements that I read, whether it's vision, mission, purpose, or core values, that are just like, meh. It's like they took, copy and pasted somebody else's. This should be compelling. You've already gone through the process to say, this is what you want to emphasize because it's unique to your story. It's the most important part of your story. It's what's going to resonate with people. So make it resonate, make it compelling, make it come alive. Make it something that people get excited about whenever it's repeated, whenever it's shared. Organizational statements don't have to be boring. In fact, those are the ones that just die. This is a huge opportunity for you to make a compelling statement so people come along and go, that is exactly what I'm looking for. So make it clear and make it compelling, and then make it memorable. This should be something that people remember, or it's triggered by something. It's unique enough, it's clear enough, it's compelling enough that people remember it because of its uniqueness, because of the impact it had on them, because of the visceral emotion that actually was created as a result of your statement. And then lastly, make it memorizable. When you start dealing with 35, 50, 75, 80, and I've seen 120 word vision statements, for example, nobody's going to be able to remember those, and they're not going to be memorizable. People are not going to be able to memorize them, which means if they can't memorize them, they can't share them broadly. And it's not going to create a common language among people. Now, this is where you have to be willing to give up a little bit of perfection for impact. Okay, we write vision statements and we get so worried that, oh, we didn't include that, we need to expand that. And yes, we want to be super clear, but we don't need to be perfect. There's a trade-off between perfection and making it compelling and making it memorizable. We want people to go around and share this broadly, to make this part of the ethos of our organization, to make this compelling, to make this exciting, create common language so people all over the place are talking about it. So these are my musings about vision, mission, purpose, and core values. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this because I think to define an organization clearly in this sort of a way creates all kinds of opportunities for internal engagement and ownership, for external engagement and ownership among all of your stakeholders, for communication with the general public, for clients to become repeat clients, for clients to become those who refer to others and recommend you to other people. This clarity about what you're about is so critical. And if you're having second thoughts about this, I would challenge you to look at what's being done by Nike or Google or IBM or Medtronic or any of these places that have really figured out how to create the culture of the organization around their purpose or their mission or their vision or their core values. And take the time to do that for your organization. It's an investment well worth it. If this is something that you want help with, it's something that I'm passionate about, and I would love to help you and your organization kind of sift through all of these things and figure out what is that clear and compelling message that you can deliver internally and externally. Otherwise, I would challenge you to go do it on your own. Get your team together and walk through these steps that I've just shared in this video. That will give you a great start to refining this process and refining your message. If you want to find out more about me, go to stevefredlund.com. Feel free to email me, steve@stevefredlund.com, if you have any questions or you want to connect, or if you just want to have a quick free chat and figure out if there's some way that we can work together. So with that, I hope you enjoyed my musings on vision, mission, purpose, and core values.